Hey there, good morning. It is 11:14, October 17th, Friday morning, and I am getting my day started. And I wanted to go over some of my intuitive messages that I got. Now, I noticed that in my meditations, I keep getting these messages about when CB Braganza was in Lancaster, California. Apparently, people in Bakersfield also knew who CB Braganza was. And at the time when he was living within the Antelope Valley. He may have even lived in Bakersfield for a short period of time. I have not done any specific intuitive readings on this, but people in Bakersfield were well aware of who he was, okay? And people looked at him as a very mystical person, and apparently they had mixed feelings about him. The reason why is because some people found him very fascinating and even worthy of getting to know. However, the church has always been very active in keeping CB Braganza down. And it really, when I think about the church, I think it's more of the independent church members that were a part of the takedown of CB Braganza. Yes, people do talk about bloodlines in churches, okay, but then we have these independent groups of people, such as my brother, Rashawn Gordon, my adopted brother, my sisters, kids from school who hear about these particular bloodlines. They get together and they start to plot. Okay, this sort of, whether these sort of hate campaigns are originated directly in the church or they are created from the members of the clergy, pastors, bishops, whatever title that they have, need to make sure that their members maintain a certain respectful attitude when it comes to dealing with the public. When you bring reproach on the name of God through members, that's exactly what they did. This is not something that is in line with what Christ would do, okay? A lot of people are interested in what I wrote in my last newsletter regarding the white race. I would say these sort of MK Ultra programs in general, keeping humanity ignorant of our origins, playing pretend about these clones, fake family setups. All of that throughout the course of time is going to create mental illness in everybody. You cannot live in an environment playing pretend that oh, this person is like my parents. Okay, my mother was acting like I was her kid. They even made up stories about it. You know what I mean? That you're constantly lying, saying one thing, pretending to be something to some people. Like, for example, my sister was pretending to be the outgoing kid at school at my expense. The only reason why she had friends was because of my expense. Okay. So and while I'm at home, there's times where she would be very friendly to me, but it was only to keep the enemy close. You see how this works? So throughout the course of time, not only am I, who was the main target, affected mentally, people who had to play the pretend game were also. See, the intuitive message that's popping through my mind right now is that yes, CB was spoken of in Bakersfield back in the day. People are glad that I do think that this is something weird and spooky because I obviously did not want to be cloned, okay? But I know that growing up, I took an interest in religion. Topics such as the New World Order slash the new system was of interest to me, okay? Mainly because so many people spoke about it, specifically Jehovah's Witnesses. And they were a big part of my targeting. And then, of course, my bloodline has been looked at upon Masonic groups as the savior. I have always been regarded through with Masonic. I do even get these intuitive messages that C.B. Braganza himself was a Mason. My father was a Prince Hall Mason. And this is probably the connection. I probably put this connection one time together. But yeah, so when you think about all the religions who were played an active role in this, Jehovah's Witnesses, Latter day Saints, okay, many of these people were, in fact, Masonic people, okay, people who were associated with the Masonic temple, as what are, have even developed a lot of their rituals. For example, the Mormons developed some of their rituals based on what they learned in the Masonic temple. And I also know that King Solomon has been revered when I think about sacred geometry being associated with the Masonic temples and stuff like that. I get it. Okay. I get it. This should have never really been kept secret from me. Okay. What I had was an awakening. When people have been born before or reincarnated, at some point they're going to become aware of who they were. Okay. Like I would say, me being a victim of human trafficking sparked, trauma in me, meaning making me want to pursue answers as to what exactly happened. Why would something this big happen? Like, I found it very disturbing that I was bullied at Murray Family Farms. And then afterwards, okay, and it really, if it was just something simple like my hair, that could have been resolved within, like, a discussion. But this was something long lasting, drawn out, and people all over the world were acting crazy about it, a part of it. And so I realized that this was a church related thing. So yeah, it has become known that I am the message I'm getting right now is people believe that there is no limit to my metaphysical skills. I believe a lot of people have seen things as a result of my prayers for protection or whatever. And I was given this gift by the divine. Okay, so yes, people now understand that I am an angelic being. This is one of the reasons why I, you know, from a child, starting from childhood, I took an interest in, of course, my gift. And then, of course, I sought answers. Maybe some of the answers are a little bit weird, like I read a bunch of different materials, including books on witchcraft and stuff like that. But I wanted to know what this was. Okay. I do not identify as a witch. Okay. But I understand those principles behind it and understand that there are forces that we do not see. Okay. And this is who I am by natural. This is why I think in the way that I do. I think in symbolism. I think in different ways. The way I think, my way my brain is wired is completely different than a human being. Okay, I look like a human and I do human things. I get up, I use the bathroom, I take a shower every morning or every night or whatever. I do routine type things. But when it comes to who I am, I'm an angel. I'm angelic. Okay. So the other message I was getting was is that I should celebrate, and other people should celebrate, that CB Braganza's name has been vindicated and is now respected in all churches. That's a message I got, and I'm very grateful. I had to explain why, and I had to figure out and do research as to what happened. I know I grew up always wanting to be in alignment with the divine. That's all I've ever wanted to do, all I've ever wanted to. And I even mentioned before, when I was a child, I even thought about being a nun. Um, I would play imaginary. My imaginary friends sometimes was just the divine himself. It would just, this is just how I've always been, and I think people realize that now. Now, I had talked about there are different denominations within the Christian groups. Okay, for some people, some religious groups take a little bit more interest in the metaphysical, meaning the things, the creepy stuff that I'm associated with. Like I know some Pentecostals believe in speaking tongues. Some people do the laying of hands, healing type stuff, which is all metaphysical. Okay, so some churches are more metaphysical in their practices than others. When it comes to the Masonic temple, the Masonic temples everywhere have acknowledged that all forms of worship are indeed valid. You know why? Because they understand that when it comes to having a true relationship with God, that is a one-on-one personal thing. Okay, so that means some people, when they hear about the Word of God, or they feel a certain energy, some people resonate with beautiful type instrumental type hymns with harps and stuff like that. Then we have some people who feel very energetic when they feel the spirit of the divine. Some people, they want to jump up and down, they want to dance, they want to do crazy stuff. Okay, but this is how it works through them. And the Masons have always been open to this. Now, what happens within their churches, that's another story. Okay, each person has their own agenda. Okay, and some people get out of control. Some people want what do you call it? Control to where it becomes abnormal. Some people become dictators. Some people become absolute nightmares within their congregations, and the people individual taking things upon themselves to create these sort of hate campaigns. Whatever the case is, I am very grateful that I am my name has been vindicated. Okay, we all have our different ways of spirituality, but I will tell you, I have never been disrespectful to the divine. I have always upheld the divine. I've always lived for the divine, and that's the only thing I've ever cared about my entire life. For real, for real. Okay. I do understand there has been certain things, that other cultures practice, and they feel like, well, this is what I'm used to. I will tell you, there is no, I've never stepped out of the bounds of the divine. Now, I know that there's some women here, like, for example, in the community, maybe they're of European descent. They might look at me as somebody who might be a little bit too dolled up. Right now I'm wearing this burgundy top, and I got to tell you, when I wear burgundy, I gotta wear the burgundy lipstick. It just matches. It just pulls everything together. And I talked about the issue of population control and those sort of issues. And there's just some women who just aren't into those sort of things. Okay, but I can tell you, beautification, whether that be of your body or your home or the town or whatever, is absolutely divine. It is absolutely of the divine. Color, utilizing. Now, I will say there are some things about makeup and hair that can be very deceiving. And this is one of the reasons why I've always been upfront about, if people would compliment my hair when I was younger, I would say, oh, you know what? It's a wig. I would tell people it's a wig. You know why? Because what if a man was looking at me as a prospective marriage mate, right? Just for example, and he kept thinking, oh, look at her long hair. I don't have long hair, right? My hair is usually about this length, and then it starts to just start breaking off, okay? But what if he did? What if he was like interested in me? I would tell, I feel an obligation to just be upfront. No, I'm wearing a wig. It's a partial wig, or it's a whatever, okay? Right, reason why I do that is because I don't ever want somebody being misled into thinking. I've also noticed some people have the ability to apply makeup in a way that completely change. I'm not talking enhances their face. I'm talking some people can actually wear makeup to where it changes the shape of their face. I can assure you I am not that skilled, okay? I might wear a little bit of eyeliner here or something like that. I do not, some of these, I've seen some of these makeup artists that could actually create clefts in chins that are not there, okay? So no, I don't do anything like that. I just like to enhance with the color, okay? Mind you, there is nothing wrong with people who do utilize that skill. Obviously, they have that skill, that talent, and it's good for certain things. I suppose they might use that sort of skill like in Hollywood for movies and stuff like that. It's just that I keep it as simple as possible. I usually take about anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes to prepare my makeup. I don't take a long time, okay? But I'm very grateful that I am, my name has been cleared in the churches. The reason why is because I think it has caused a lot of hate and a lot of misunderstandings. And the fact of the matter is that yes, I do value God, and I do value the things of God. Okay. Um, the message I'm getting right now is that my information is wholly and timely about opening up society's eyes regarding the church, and the cloning is considered to be an important topic. It is attributed to me. I did dig into why, all this sort of stuff and the connections and everything. And, I think it's important for me to say that we should never, ever use God as an excuse for anything, especially when it comes to crime. Okay. And if anything, they should ask for forgiveness. The cloning agencies should ask for forgiveness by trying to use God as an excuse for what they were trying to do. The intuitive message I'm getting is that people are getting interested in my art. I think some people are reviving their interest in some of my original videos. I think the shadow channel still exists. I believe that it might be manned by certain employers as well as some church affiliations. That's unfortunate because I would prefer to be very active in my work, but it is what it is, okay? People are very grateful that I have talked about and introduced the New World Order. It is healing many people. I am very grateful for that. When I think about the New World Order, according to the Bible, okay, now we know that the Bible it's kind of metaphoric, okay, because obviously, I'm the savior, and people did not expect to have a black woman savior, okay, but it's very symbolic, but it does have specific meaning. And the idea behind the New World Order is to return to Eden, meaning, think about humans on the earth. Your mind is explorative. You want to experience things. You want to do what is pleasing to the senses. Okay, obviously we can't do everything. Okay, but it's a sort of curiosity and the sort of life that we were originally meant to have. Okay, instead of when according to idea of the fall of man and then everything went crooked and things became corrupt. Um, this is basically what it is, just being able to return to our natural states of being, instead of the puppetry that we've dealt with. A lot of people are acknowledging me for freeing the world from the lies of Christianity. Many people woke up and saw the insanity. Everyone is acknowledging that I am of the light, meaning like I am not. I think some people thought that I was associated with the devil because of my extreme power. Okay, no, my power is of God. It is of God. Okay. People are taking an interest in my hair art, and I get the intuitive message that hair art will be acceptable this fall. I think it's awesome. Now, there's some of the hair art that I showed in the Wear the Flair in Your Hair video. I myself did not wear, mainly because I do utilize wigs and I'm not able to use some of the hair accessories. Okay, some of the ponytail holders and stuff like that I can wear, but and the little pony bun sticks I can wear, but some of them I can't, but I'm giving people ideas, and I think what the Masons are very interested in is the fact that I utilize um, symbolism instead of having to resort to things like ceremonial magic. This is making it more easy for the modern day, for the modern age. Okay. The other message I'm getting is everyone knows that America had freedom of religion in C.B. Braganza's time as well as now. The church was 100% wrong. Okay. I do know that the church has always worked. Just, okay, I would say the way the church worked in a covert manner, even though we have freedom of religion. The very fact that it can operate and blind people to this issue and subjugate people in the manner that it did is a great form of mind control right there. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that me and my family will not be cloned again. Okay, I am very grateful for that. I am very grateful for that. For now, I'm choosing to live my life to the fullest and experience things that I've never got a chance to do before. Okay, there's some things I cannot relive. Okay, some things are just whatever, but I do the best I can. Okay, I do the best I can. I have been doing things to try to uplift my mood. I am in the process. I did show the jeans that I picked out. Um, I got them from Walmart. Okay. Now, and like I said, I don't really get around as much, so Walmart is available. But I did get some of these jeans here. Let me show you. These jeans right here. I'm going to shorten them this weekend. I'm going to, yeah, because they're really long. So I'm going to get the sewing machine and change the lengths of them. I'm really looking forward to wearing these as well as my other jeans. Okay, I love jeans. I've had these jeans for about 3 or 4 years. These right here, and I noticed the little belt loop broke off, so I'm gonna fix those. Yeah, I would say clothes are my passion, and apparently my siblings were jealous of me, and they wanted to punish me, and this was wrong. Okay, employment should not be used as a form of punishment, and taking care of your appearance is not something to be punished for. I dealt with a lot of jealous people, including my family, and it broke my heart that my family would treat me in such a way like that. But when you think about the stories in the Bible about families, what was it, Joseph? I think it was Joseph. Yeah, Joseph, his family and how they treated him, and these sort of stories are not written so much that we have to repeat them 100%, but they are examples of human behavior. Okay, same sort of attitude gets played out in the modern day, just like when people denied Jesus. Same sort of attitude gets played out in the modern day. Okay, so I would say that the Bible is not exactly what we thought it was, but there's a lot of great things in it. Okay, so and of course, I did my contributions. Then my holy books were part of the Bible as well. Okay, so a lot of celebrities, politicians, they all got when they did the card readings, Many of them got the underground crime syndicate. Yes, we are all created from these underground crime syndicates. And everybody knows that this underground crime syndicate was working in operation and did utilize a lot of mind control to be able to carry this out throughout the centuries. Like I said, America was established for freedom of religion. Okay, and the reason why that was a well thought out plan. The reason why is because look what happens when you have religious wars in communities. Okay, look what happens. Okay, but we had these churches were saying one thing, or these private groups were doing one thing, and the country was meant to be established for other. And I would say that the United States was created just the way that it needed to be created. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is that Masons always regarded CB as the savior. Okay, now we know that Masons are responsible for creating a lot of the religions. Okay, so what does that tell you? Okay, anyway, yes, my mind is able to control things. Okay, I have a very strong mind. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of religions talk about the dangers of the occult. Okay. I agree with what a lot of the religions say because not everybody has that kind of control. Not everybody has that kind of wisdom. If everybody had the ability to do all kinds of, higher level forms of magic, people would create all kinds of havoc on people. Okay. So, but throughout society, throughout the ages, people have always practiced a small amount of it. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Like, things like wall hangings, positive affirmations, making the best use of color, designing your home to where, you're getting positive energy. These are the things that are important. Okay. I'm not talking about, creating death spells or trying to one up people using magic for negative reasons. Okay. That's not what you should be doing. But throughout the years, I would say, like with the Pennsylvania Dutch, I believe they're a form of religion. I never forgot which Christianity group they're associated with, but they've used things like hex symbols and stuff like that on their barns and their homes, and that's what it basically is. So anyway, I'm a what they call a white light type person. I'm only positive. Okay. Yes, I'm glad that people are interested in my hair art. And if you ever want to take a look at that video, Wear the Flair in Your Hair, I will put the link in the description box. Yes, I am correct. People do recognize that I was over the age of 18, and that my family should have never done what they did. Okay. For some reason, people believe that my name commands serious respect. Maybe it's because I'm so open about. Yeah, that is it. Okay, that's another confirmation of my angelic nature. People would know. Okay, that I've never advertised that I was kind of like a spooky type person, but I'm not ashamed of it either. Like I literally am comfortable in my own skin, and the reason why I don't sit here and give in to people who sit here and try to bully me over it because I can't change who I am. I think this way. I live this way. This is who I am. For real, for real. This is not just somebody like, for example, maybe they thought that I was just a regular person who was maybe on the wrong path or I was just going through a fate. No, this is me for real, for real, for real, for real. Okay. I have angelic rights. They are all granted by the universal forces, meaning they are granted to me by God. For real, for real. Okay. Um, what else I want to say? Oh, a lot of people are happy because they feel as though they like this structure, the things that I talk about as far as my politics are concerned. Okay. But yeah, what I'm saying is just making use of the law. It's always been this way. It's always been this way. It's just that people have been very blinded about it. People recognize that people look at me as somebody who always dresses nice. Yes, clothes are very important to me. And I think they are important to a lot of women. And a lot of women are afraid to express themselves because they get misunderstood by people. And I think it's important that I actually had a chance to talk about this because a lot of women suffer for being assumed for things that they're not even trying to do. Okay. I forgot the name of it. That Try a Little Tenderness song by Otis Redding about the young girls get weary wearing the same old shaggy dress or whatever. That's true. It's true. It's totally true. Women and people in general, okay, even men, okay, feel better when they are feeling confident, when they feel good about themselves, and when they're wearing clothes that make them feel who they are. Okay. I've been in situations like when I was working in a place where they wanted me to wear a uniform, I felt completely detached from myself. I lost motivation and I didn't care. I didn't care. Now, there are some industries that wear uniforms, and I would say certain jobs expect to go into wearing a uniform. Like people who work with chemicals, they love chemicals, and their chances are they love chemicals so much it doesn't even matter. Okay, but I would say that that's never been my vision. I when I think about color or certain things that I'm doing, I actually see that in color. And I think for women to have the gift of beautification is wonderful. And men should be happy that women would want to beautify. I'll tell you why. Because when a woman beautifies, they beautify the home, they beautify your children, they beautify the surroundings of your home. Okay, they want to add a special touch to things. That is a beautiful thing. That's something you should welcome. You should welcome that wholeheartedly, because this is something that the woman lavishes upon her family. Okay, so it's a good thing to beautify. And women who have the skills, like who have the skills to decorate. Some women can pull together very little with very little money and put together beautiful homes, like very nice things. With very, yes, that is a powerful, a beautiful skill to have. So anyway, I wanted to say hello to certain people. I want to say hello to Donald Trump. I also want to say hi to JD Vance. I want to say hello to Obama. I want to say hello to, you know what? I want to say hello to Putin. I don't know why, but like you're in my head all the time. Like Putin just like rolls around in my head all the time. Must have known you from a past life. Anyway, I like your eyelids, dude. I really like your eyelids. Anyway, there's something about your eyelids that are very distinct. Okay. Anyway, I get the intuitive message that people like my father's apparition. I am very grateful for my father. My father too was another person who needs to be absolved from the church. He was a man of the divine, totally a man of the divine. And that's pretty much how we lived. Everything we do is dedicated to the divine. Like, I talk about even cookie cutters. I am grateful for the beautiful shapes, the beautiful colors, the beautiful different flavors that we are given here on the earth. We are blessed here, and this is what I'm acknowledging. There is no limit to the great things that we have on the earth, and I'm just somebody who acknowledges that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I know I want to sew up my stuff. Okay. Let me show you what else I'm going to do. I have some sewing projects here. This right here, I decided to convert this long sweater into just a regular jacket. Sweater. So I'm going to cut this right here and then raise the band to be more a part of the waist area. This extra right here, what I'm going to do with it is I have that extra toe jacket that I showed in my newsletter. I'm going to make it into a handbag because I really am disappointed with I'm disappointed with the way that the jacket is shaped on me. Okay, I really was not happy with that, and yes, I could modify it, but I really don't even like the color on me. So what I'm going to do is make it into a handbag, and then I'm going to take the extra strips from the sweater that I have and roll them up into flowers, and then add like decorative flowers on the handbag. And I will show you when that project is done. What else do I want to modify? I'm just looking through my stuff and seeing. Those are the main things I want to modify this year, and that's it really. I'm content with my wardrobe this year. Today I'm getting a lot of use out of these pants, but I also want to I also want to alter some of my brown slacks. Okay, right now I'm wearing my brown corduroys, which I've been wearing a lot this week. I have the same pair of pants in green, and I also have them in burgundy. But I also have some slacks, some brown slacks that I want to modify the length of, because I want to get the use out of those as well. I love clothes. Clothes are my thing. And I do think that there are what you call like higher level type clothes that I cannot afford to wear. But if I had that, I probably would try them. You know what I mean? But I'm content with what I have, with the very little I have. I just make best use of what I got. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the people who supported me. I want to thank all the churches. Wait. There's another something about um, people want to thank me for bringing up the future of humanity in cloning. Yeah, it's a possibility. Like I said, I talked about the religious views of people who want to come back as clones, and that's really how it should be. People who want to come back as clones. You know what I mean? It is in the past where people's family members were choosing to do that. For example, they wanted me to create me because I was a deal for NASA or whatever. Okay, now, you know, my sister, I don't have anything to do with them. So, yeah, I'm glad that things are shaping up, and I am interested in seeing, and hopefully, I'll be a part of how the new world order is completely formulated. I would like to be a part of that as much as I possibly can. Wrapping up this video. Take care. Bye bye.